So what is up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be seeing a game between the World Champion Magnus Carlsen and the Championship Challenger Nepo. So this game is played in the Norway Chess 2021. It's a tournament in Norway, and this is the final round, round number 10. It's an Armageddon game too. So Nepo is with white and Magnus is playing black. Nepo has 10 minutes, Magnus has 7 minutes. And this game was like a banger. So without further ado, let's get started. Nepo opens with e4, Magnus plays e5, knight c3, knight c6, and now Nepo does not go for the classic f4, he goes for bishop c4. Magnus develops with knight f6, d3, knight a5 going after the c4 bishop, bishop b3, knight takes b3, a takes b3, and now Nepo has double pawns in the b file, but he also has a semi-open a file. So Magnus strikes in center with d5. Now comes e takes d5, knight takes d5, and queen h5. Nepo is attacking the e5 pawn. Here Magnus sacrifices the e5 pawn with knight to b4. Yes, he is attacking the c2 pawn, but Nepo will be able to defend it with queen takes e5, bishop e7, and queen e2. Now the c2 pawn is guarded by the queen. Magnus castles. Nepo develops his bishop with bishop e3, and now comes rook e8, knight f3. Magnus cements the b4 knight with a5. It's a beautiful piece there. And now h3. So Nepo is preparing to castle and then connect his rooks. So b6. Magnus is preparing to fianchetto's bishop on b7. Castles, bishop b7, rook c1. Rook c1 is a bit passive according to me, and bishop f6, d4, queen d7. So instead of queen d7, Magnus could have played bishop a6 in this position, and he could have won the exchange after queen d1, bishop takes f1, and queen takes f1. But he preferred queen d7. So I think there's a blind spot. Rook d1, rook d8, queen b5. Nepo is offering a queen trade, which would probably benefit him. So queen c8, and here there's a way for Nepo to force queen trade, and he finds it. So first queen h5, h6, and now queen g4. Here Nepo is offering a queen trade. Firstly, he's offering queen trade, then he's threatening bishop takes h6. So Magnus can't allow bishop takes h6, so he plays the queen, and he also doubles Nepo's g pawns, and he now Nepo has two sets of doubled pawns. So rook d7, rook d2, g5. Magnus has started to expand in the king side. Now knight d1. Here Nepo's plan is to play c3. He has vacated the c3 square for his pawn to remove the knight from the square. So rook d8, c3 as mentioned, knight d5, centralizing the knight. Knight h2. The players are just shuffling the pieces around, and king g7, knight f1, king g6, f3, and now Magnus wants to open the h file with the move h5. He plays now Nepo just captures the h pawn, g takes h5, king takes h5, and now bishop f2. After king g6, he plays knight e3 and plans to exchange a pair of knights. After bishop e7, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, c4, bishop e6, now d5. So here, before reacting to the threat of capturing d takes e6, Magnus first plays bishop b4, an in-between move or a Zwischenjag. So Nepo moves the rook to d1, rook d1, bishop d7, knight e3, f5. You see, Magnus is just storming the pawns in the king side. Like, he wants to exchange all the pawns and open up the king side, and also concentrate on the queen side a bit. So knight c2, kicking the bishop from the b4 square. Now knight d4, g4, g3, g takes f3, knight takes f3, rook e2. Magnus has infiltrated the 7th rank, that is the second rank for white. And now rook d2, rook takes d2, knight takes d2, rook e8, rook d1, and now comes f4, a plan to exchange all the pawns on the king side. G takes f4, bishop takes f4, knight f3, rook e2. The other rook comes to the second rank. Now bishop d4. Bishop d4 was not a very good move, like it was a mistake which allows bishop g4, and Magnus has all his pieces extremely active. So now rook f3, king f5, the king is just coming forward like a brave soldier. And now d6, c takes d6, bishop takes b6, bishop takes f3, rook takes f3, rook takes b2. Here there was a way for Nepo to save the game with bishop takes a5, and after king e4 he can play rook h3 and continue, but he played bishop d4. This also results in an equal position, but after rook d1 he blundered with king f2. King f2 was not the exact blunder, but here after king e4, bishop g2, bishop g7 was like the final nail in the coffin. Rook h1, rook c3, and now it's over. Rook h2, king f1, king f, bishop e3 first, cutting the vision of the rook on the third rank. And after c5, d takes c5, rook c4 check, king f3, and in this position, on move 56, Ian Nepomniachtchi resigned the game. So it was a beautiful game, and the mating net has been spun around the white king, and it's like with best defense it's mate in 4, or just rook h1 it's over. Even if king f1, rook h1 is mate. So folks, that's it for today, and see you in next video. Until then, it's Pranav from Chessverse signing off.